Welcome back as we continue our discussion about tools and strategies you can use to help manage and mitigate risk. Let's send it out to Michaela, who's visiting a family-owned feed yard in Kansas.
In southwest Kansas, Cattle Empire is a 53,000 head cattle feeding operation managed by the third generation of the Brown family.
Here at Cattle Empire, we're a custom cattle feeding operation, which means that the vast majority of the cattle here are not owned by the company. We take care of cattle for other people. So the way that changes our risk management is making sure that our customer is always protected and making sure that we can offer the most economical prices to our customer.
Well, I've been feeding cattle for about 40 years now. My dad started before that, and basically he got into cattle feeding as a tool of risk management because he was a farmer. And 40 years, 50 years ago, when cattle prices were high, farm prices were low, and vice versa. So it was a natural hedge, and that's how he got into cattle feeding.
The term risk management means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It can mean anything from insurance, and on the feed yard side that usually means, property and casualty, employee insurance, cattle insurance, all the way through to hedging, which is what most people, especially with corn prices now, want to talk about, all the way to employee training and work comp and helping people stay safe.
With everything they have to manage, Trista and Roy believe that carrying on the family cattle feeding tradition for them and their customers makes having a risk management strategy essential.
Who saw the Ukraine thing coming? It's one of those things that you're told is going to come a couple months before it happened, but you don't think through the ramifications of it. It's a very dangerous world we live in. There's a lot of things that are affecting our markets that are not fundamental, and that's why risk management to some degree is essential.
Especially in the climate we're in right now where the world feels so volatile, I find that it's really helpful to focus on what we can control. We can't control what the corn price is today, but we can control that we're doing everything on an animal welfare and on an efficiency side. We can control the quality of the flakes that we're making and the quality of the feed, and that each sick animal gets doctored properly. We have to focus on those little things that we have control over to help make the best product for the meat case and for our customer.
Looking back, what are some general wins and losses that you've seen when, trying out marketing strategies? Like what does that look like over the years?
Our overall strategy has varied a lot. We've been all the way from 0% hedged to 100% hedged on our own cattle. And I think it really just comes down to personal preference. What is each person's risk tolerance, and how much equity do they have in their cattle. One benefit that we provide our customers if they want to open a hedge account through us, we front all their margin while those cattle are on feed. So if they want to hedge but they are worried about margin risk, then that's something that we can help with.
I think probably the primary thing that has developed over the years has been the consulting agencies or groups that we work with. We work with CattleFax quite a bit. We have a weekly call with them to stay on top of markets. We also have technicians in the markets anymore. So much of our trading is technical and not necessarily tied to fundamentals. So we've had to add that technical piece over the last probably about 7 years.
While risk management most often brings to mind cattle marketing, at Cattle Empire, they take a comprehensive approach to their risk management strategies.
The amount of risk in the feeding operation extends not only to the markets but also operationally. We do a lot of things to make sure that the employees are properly trained. We have monthly safety meetings. All of our employees are BQA certified, trying to make sure that we can protect the investment of our customers and their cattle. We have redundancies in both the feed as well as the water operations, making sure that we can feed the cattle no matter what the conditions.
So by custom feeding, what sort of strategies can your customers implement or kind of buy into, as well as how do you protect both your operation and the customer?
One of the biggest risks to our customers is still cattle loss. So the best thing that they can do is make sure that their cattle are vaccinated and ready for a group environment when they get here. That enables us to follow all of the protocols set up by our consulting veterinarian to treat cattle and try to be as judicious as possible with antibiotics and keep everything alive to the end point. One of the things that we do to diversify marketing strategies is we offer non-hormone treated cattle feeding and verified natural beef here, as well as conventional. So there are 3 different avenues for customers to get the most bang for their buck or to find a good marketing relationship for them.
That's great. Can you also describe a little bit how you protect your feeding resources? What does that look like?
So one of the ways as a feed yard we diversify our feed input risk is by taking 2 different kinds of silages. A lot of feed yards use corn silage. We have went away from that and we use triticale silage and sorghum silage now. And both of those crops use a little bit less water, and that way we have a spring crop and a fall crop. So if there's a year where it doesn't rain, we're not only reliant on one crop to come in.
That's great, especially in a year like this year, that's definitely been something that's been at the forefront of folks' minds, that drought planning and what that looks like when feeding out cattle in every aspect of, the cattle industry in every sector. Making any family business last for 3 generations is a major accomplishment. No doubt, like everyone else in the cattle business, the Brown family has faced spikes in input costs, ups and downs in the cattle market, weather challenges, and more. But through it all, perseverance and a commitment to managing the risk as best they can has carried them through. Can you give us an overview, kind of a before and after snapshot of how these strategies have benefited your efficiency and boosted your profitability?
That question is very difficult because a lot of it has been continuous improvement that has happened, throughout the time, the 15 years I've been here and the decades or generations before that. So that's really what we focus on, is just being 1% better every day to try to make sure that we're making those improvements and those changes as we go. We really use all these risk management strategies to help make sure our business lasts until the next generation, as well as the businesses of our customers and other partners, that we're here for their kids and our employees as well.